What's going on, everybody? Another late night coding. Another late night coding. Yep. Hold on. Gotta adjust my screen. There we go. There we go. Like so. Alright, guys. So, tonight, just another night learning some Flutter. And, yeah, I wanted to try to update the list view that we keep recreating just because, it's an important skill to learn. So let's jump into it. Let's get into it. And yeah. And I'm going to once again start this from scratch because honestly, it's been making me better. It really has. Actually, that's why we were doing it this way. We're going to do it like this, like that, and then we go over here. Let's see if I can remember the shortcut. Ooh, getting better at doing shortcuts in the in VS Code, baby. All right, let's do this. All right, so we want to go to, I think I've been putting in KL Learning. So change directory, desktop, KL Learning, and we're going to do Flutter create, and this is going to be updating list view. Still not too crazy about the naming conventions, but hey, what you gonna do? New version of Flutter available too. That's the thing about Flutter is like it's constantly being updated. So every time you're going to start a new project or you're going to start working on your existing project, you're probably going to end up, updating, but not this time. All right, so what we want to do is change directory to updating list view, and then since it doesn't like to do this the way that I like to do this, we're going to just say we're going to update KL Learning, updating list view, and we're going to open that bad boy right on up. No thanks. Not right now. Jump over here to that main. And we're going to take out all the caca. All the caca. And we're going to call this notes. Don't need that. Okay, don't need that. Don't need that at all, actually. Don't need the counter. Don't need anything in between. We don't need this. I know that much. Then we don't need this. And we don't need this. No, we don't. No, 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 no. No, we don't. I gotta figure out a way to get like a clean Flutter project because this is kind of annoying every time that we do this. What's going on, Kareem? Nice to have you in here. Nice to have you in here. Alrighty, we're gonna get rid of these. And actually, we're going to get rid of everything inside of the body. And floating action button, I'm going to say, we're going to leave that there. Floating action button. Add increment tooltip does this mean? Gotta look that up. And then increment counter, that doesn't exist. So we need to fix that. So we'll do that for right now. And then for the body, what we want is, I believe it's a container. I believe that we need to have it in a container to do our list view. And we'll just say, child is going to be a list view, right? So like this, list view.builder. And the list view builder has an item count, and we're gonna need something in there. So we're going to have something called notes. So let's go ahead and create our notes. Let's see, we're gonna just say note.dart. So we're gonna have a note class, and this is just gonna be for holding our data, because it's probably best practice to be doing it this way. So string, and then we'll just call it a value like that, and then we need to create a constructor like this at required, and we want to do required this dot value. And maybe it doesn't have to be required because it's in this constructor. So maybe like this and like that and like, no, stop it. All right, so something as simple as this might work for us. We just want to be working with objects, object-oriented programming. Seems logical. And we're just gonna have a list of notes. So notes, and that's gonna be equal to an empty list of notes, and we need to import our note. So let's go ahead and import our note.dart file. So now we can say notes, and actually we want this to be underscore because it shouldn't be accessible anywhere else. So notes.length, like that. And then we have an item builder, which has a context and an index like so, and then we do stuff in here. So let me see. What we're going to do is we're going to say this is going to be a runtime. This is going to be a runtime constant, which means that we need to do const note is equal to our notes at whatever index, like that, right? No? Notes index, yeah, I thought that would work. It doesn't work for some reason. Huh, where's my bottom thing? That's kind of weird. It should work. I need to find out why it doesn't work. So yeah, if we do this, then we get these, and we get to see the problem. Const variables must be initialized with a constant value. But it is a constant value. Is it not? So final won't work either? That's interesting. I thought that const would work, but final wouldn't. Let me think. Final. So let's go back real quick. It's better to really understand what's going on here because I thought it was one thing and that is not the case. So we're going to look at the docs for Dart real quick. Language, Tor, and we want to see keywords, and then we're going to do const. Final const. A final variable can be set only once. A const variable is a compile time constant. Compile time constant. Oh, so I had it reversed. So final is like let. Okay, so final is what we want because, yeah, compile time, it's not a runtime constant. Final allows it to be a runtime constant, which is what we want. Got it. Cool. So now what we want to do is we want to create a list tile, a note list tile. So let's go ahead and do that. Note list tile.dart. Oh, what did I do? No. Okay. Rename. And like so, that works. All right, so now what we need to do is we need to import. What do we need to import? We need to import material Dart. All right, and then what we want to do is we want to do a class which is going to be called note list tile, and it extends a state list widget. And what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the build method on it so that we can get rid of that underline because ain't nobody like that underline. And then we want to also make sure that well, first of all, that it's going to be passed in a note. So what we want to do is we want to do final underscore note because we don't need this to be accessed outside. And then oh well, we don't need to, well, we could do final note like this, and it's going to be note like that. And then we need to have note imported. So import our note file. And then we just need to make sure that we have a constructor. So we do that by doing note list tile like this, like that. And we say this dot note and like so. And we can't have it underlined because you can't have underlined constructors like that. So that's fine. Am I getting an error because there was no semicolon? I think I was. All right, so remember that we want to make this a list tile. So let's go ahead and do that. And what we're going to do is list tile has, we only really want the body, right? That's what is it, the title? Okay, the title. So let's go ahead and try to do this. Let's see if the title will work. Not sure if it will. And what we're going to do is we're going to just say text, and then we're going to pass in our note like so. Oh, we could just do note.value, I think. Note.value like so. All right, so we're making a list tile and then like that. And then we also, I don't even know if we need a list tile because it's expecting a widget. So that means that we can do actually a column. So let's go ahead and wrap this in a column because I want to have like a underline underneath it, underneath the text, so that there's a clear divider. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to refactor this into a column. and we're going to make sure that there's a line underneath it. So I'm going to just do that with a container, and we can just say color is black. So colors.black, like so. So that's going to be, I wonder if there's an underline widget. Underline. Yeah. Not the way that I want to use it. So, and then we also need to make sure that the constraints are equal to edge constraints horizontal or no, hold on. Let's see. Constraints. Oh, not edge insets. We want to do box box constraints. That's what it is, man. Box constraints, and then we want to set the max. No, hold on. Box constraints dot expand. That's what it was. Expand, and then we want the height to be 1. So it's gonna just be like 1 height, right? Should work. Usha Sri. Sorry, butchered your name. Never like doing that, but every time I always say, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to butcher your name, but I appreciate you reaching out. Anyways, you said, I love your mannerisms. Thanks, Kilo Loco. I can immediately relate to your learning style. Great guy. Thanks, man. I am a great guy. Nah. Thanks. And then Jaco Bia says, hi, Kilo. I'm here again. Greetings from PH. Oh, yeah, man. What's going on? And I'm guessing that might be Philippines. Might be wrong. But I think it was Philippines, if I remember correctly. All right, so we got the container. This is going to be our underline, hopefully. And then this, hopefully, our text will be able to be multi-line, if I'm correct. So this is going to be our note list tile, right? Note list tile, because I don't want it to be like note list, like without a note. And then what we're going to do is we're simply going to return our new note list tile. Actually, we might need to import that. So let's go ahead and import that bad boy right there, like note list tile dart, like so. This way we don't get any weird errors. And then what we're going to do is we're going to say note is going to be the note, like so. Drop the semicolon right there. And yes. All right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So if we were to run this, nothing would really happen because, well, we don't have any data, Kyle. That's why. Why you choose Flutter over React Native? Is Flutter production ready? Yeah, Flutter is production ready. I actually have a whole video that I want to dedicate to why I'm using Flutter over React Native and why I'm using Flutter over Kotlin Native, why I chose Flutter in general. So I'm actually going to cover this, but, you know, the short answer is just because it looked the most appealing to me and JavaScript sucks. It's super powerful, but JavaScript sucks, and that's why there's a million frameworks for it, because nobody really likes working with JavaScript. That's why there's so many frameworks for it. If you really think about it, there's so many frameworks because nobody wants to deal with JavaScript the way that it is. And that is the truth. Whoa, Kyle. we don't play around with blue. You know we got to do purple. You're right. So what we want to do is when we press the plus, I think that I want to open a dialog box. So show dialog like so. And show dialog takes in, okay, we need to pass a context to it and a all right, takes function. This function takes a builder, which typically builds a dialog widget. Okay. Modal barrier. All right. Let's see. All right. So then we want to say context is going to be our context. So let's just go ahead and pass that on through. And then our builder is going to build. Your Flutter tutorials rock, man. Flutter feels less janky than React Native. Great learning. Thanks from Singapore. Thanks. These aren't even tutorials. This is me literally learning. So that's cool. I'm glad that you like it. I'm still learning myself. So yeah. This passes in a context. Like so. I wonder if we could get away with not doing context right here. Nope. Need it. All right, so then we got a context. We're passing it through, and then I honestly can't remember what we're supposed to do here. So what we're going to do is we're going to return a container. Which is, need a semicolon. A container which has a child. Or no, let's do a container and we'll just give it a color. Color black. All right. And that's when we press the floating action button. So what happens when we do this? That's not good. Okay, so what we want to do is let's make this always like let's add some constraints, and then we're gonna have some box constraints. And box constraints, we have expand so that we could set the width and the height. And what we want to do is we're gonna say the width, I think a good number is about 250, just throwing it out there. And we usually want the width to be higher than or larger than the height. So we're going to do about 250 by 200. Probably not the best thing to do with like hard-coded numbers, but it's late for me, guys. And honestly, we just learning here. This isn't the focus for today. Okay, so constraints. Not sure if that worked or not. It might have worked, but since we're using state, it might not have worked the way that I expected. So what we're going to do is we're going to restart it and see if that changes anything. So no, it doesn't. So that means that this is not going to work. Therefore, we're going to have to refactor this container into what is it? Box constrained box. So we're going to wrap in a new widget. We're going to say constrained box. This one has a child, but it also takes in one more. It also takes in some constraints like so. Takes in some constraints, and we're going to pass in some box constraints just like we just did. We're going to once again do .expand, and we're going to say width is going to be, once again, 250. Height is going to be 200. Let's try that one more time. That also did not work. Do not like. Oh man. That, okay. My Victor Lee, thought you used snapshot previously in the builder. So before I was using, I think what you're talking about is the other time, like the other day when I did this snapshot. That was for a future builder, which is different when you're dealing with asynchronous code, which I might technically need to use. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if I understand this correctly, I shouldn't need to use a future builder. Well, I don't know. We'll find out. But it was a completely different widget. That's why in the builder it had a snapshot. So just keep that in mind. It was something completely different. And we were working with networking code, whereas we're not going to be doing that here. All right. So let's see. All right. I'm not sure what to do because this is clearly a box, right? Well, obviously, Kyle. But maybe if I didn't use expand, what if I use tight? I haven't used tight before. I'm not really sure. So if I was going to do this, let's see, loose, don't want it to be loose, loosey-goosey. All right, let me see. Creates box constraints that expand to fill another box constraints. Yeah, so that might be a problem. Creates box constraints that is respected only by the given size. Oh, you know what? I think we could use something called size box. Hold on. Sized box. And that might work. So sized box has a width and a height. Width is going to be, once again, 250. And height, once again, is going to be 200. Hold on. Try that one more time. Dang it. Okay, so that didn't work either. So let's reload it. Let's see if it makes a difference, but it does not. So I actually did this in my other project. So I'm actually going to look that up because it's probably a lot easier, a lot faster if I just look it up that way. And what we're going to do is we're going to find show dialog, and let's see, card dialog, and let me think. Okay. So it's a stack. Interesting. Yeah, so build dialog content. Okay, so we're actually creating, so we're doing a stack, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just open back this, and let's try that. Okay, so in the other thing I did a stack, right? And we need to make sure we had that semicolon. Okay, so we had a stack, and then I think we just used the children, and then what we did was, or what I did was, I made maybe a sized box. like so. And what we can say is width, once again, 250. Geez Louise. You know what? We might even be able to get away with it with just a container. So if I can do it with just the container, then that's what I want to do. The less widgets, the better, right? Because a container has width, which is 250. Container has height, 200, and it has a child, which would be, well, actually, we don't need a child right now. So, but it does have a color. So we want color is going to be colors.black. Ah, Kyle, what did you do? What is this? Colors dot black. All right. Okay. Let's run this bad boy. Bad boy. All right. We press plus, and yes, that works. That's exactly what we wanted. You know, 300 is just going to look a little bit better. And it's okay because we're only going to be testing this out. But what we want to do is we just want to wrap this bad boy right here in the center. And if we just update that, it might work. But it didn't, of course. And there we go. Look at that. That's way better. Okay, so now we have something in the center. And what we'll do is we'll just create, let's see. Let me think. We're going to want to do a column. And then we're going to have like a title. And then a text field. And then we want to have a button to save and a button to cancel. So we're going to have a column, text field, row, button. So that's what I want. So first I set a column, right? And then comma. First I set a column, and then we want to have, well, first of all, we want to have everything centered, right? Main axis alignment. So since it's a column, main axis alignment, we want it to have it. That is actually going to be space around. So main axis alignment, and this is going to essentially make everything kind of fit very nicely with padding at the top and at the bottom. So we want that, and then we want to have cross-axis alignment, and we want cross-axis alignment to be stretched because we want it to go from left to right and fill up that entire area. So then what we want to do is we want to add the children. And like I said, the first one's going to be text. And we're not going to make this look beautiful today. No sexiness today. This is like getting out of the house with no makeup on. Oh, yeah. So what we'll do is we'll say add new note like that. Then we have the text field. Let's see. You know, I'm not even sure if this will actually work because I don't know. We're going to have to see. This is going to be interesting. Hold on. Let me see. So on change is what we're going to want to use. So on change, we're going to want to update some value up here. And this is going to be string text. Yeah. or note text, and that we'll keep that as empty, right? And we'll say unchanged. We'll pass in text, and we're gonna say note text. Let's see, note text is equal to the text, like that. So there we go. And then, so that gives us the text field. And then I said that we want to have a couple of buttons at the bottom. So let's do a row. And this is just going to, let me think, how would I want to do this? It doesn't really matter. But we would probably want the main axis alignment to be at the end. So main axis alignment end, and then we want the children to be 2 buttons. So I like to just use the flat buttons. And on pressed, you know, something happens. And this is actually going to be the cancel button. So child text is going to be cancel. And then down here, this is going to be another flat button. And this one is also going to have an on pressed. This one's going to do something else. And then child, get out of my face. Text is going to be save. And then we want to just change the colors for these. So color is going to be, I don't know, red, colors, red. And then this one's going to be colors, purple. I don't know. Sure. Why not? Why not? All right. So then what we want to do is this wants to dismiss. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do file, new window, and we're going to open up my other project again because I don't remember how to dismiss, but I did do it in the past. So this is the benefit of having your projects, is because when you're learning stuff and you're doing projects, you can go back and reference how you did that in code, and you'd be like, oh, I remember doing that over there. And then, you know, yeah, could be like, oh, okay, I remember how to do that. Or no, I don't remember how to do that, but I know where that's at. And see, navigator of context, and then just pop. So that's what we want to do. So we're just going to say, since this is just going to be a function, what we can do is we could do this little cool shorthand arrow thing. And then we could say navigator of context, dot pop, like so. And that is going to be what the cancel button is going to do. It's just going to make it disappear. But over here, we want something else to happen. And you know what? We actually don't need to have on changed. We just need the field. Because what we'll actually do is update that when we press save. And honestly, we don't even need this note text because we could create a new note. I believe, yeah. I think I'm thinking it through now. There you go. Okay. Kai, you're making a little bit of sense now. So what we want to do is we want to access our notes, and then we want to add the let me see, the text that we're getting from somewhere around here. Oh, you know what? Let me think. Let me think. Yeah, no, you know what? I was right before. Silly Kyle. All right. So what I want to do is I want to do notes, and then we want to add whatever the value of the note text is, like that. Yeah, note text. Oh, and we can't do that because we need to create a new note. So what we'll do is we'll say final new note is equal to note, and then we want to create this with a value, which is going to be our note text, like so, and then we'll add the new note like that. So that's what it was. Also, we don't want that to be black. We want it to be white, and we'll just go ahead and save that. And what we're going to do is when we tap on it, oh, no, that didn't work. Okay, so one problem is that we are no longer in a scaffold, right? So what's happening is it's making it look like poop, like really bad poop. So what we're going to do, yeah, card dialog, and that's super interesting that it's like that, because I don't remember having to deal with this. So let's think. Where did I go wrong? So it is a stateful widget, and you know, let's see. I may have to create a separate widget that contains the state. Huh. Dang it. And I thought I was making some progress. Man. Okay. All right, let's try to make a custom dialog, and let's see if that helps anything. So what we'll do is we'll say custom dialog. Dialog, right? .dart. And what we're going to do is we are going to, well, first let's take a look at this. Heading, hint, action, blah, blah, blah. And we're just going to create the dang thing. Create that dang thing. The dang. All right, so in here we're gonna first import material because we need that for all the widgets that we're gonna be making UI out of. We don't want to do that. What I wanted to do was have a custom widget that extends the state of something. Okay, so what we want to do is we're going to say class custom dialog extends, and this is going to be a stateful widget. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do create state like so. But we also need a state, so we're going to say class, and then this is going to be underscore custom dialog state extends state for the custom dialog like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do build context like that. And then once again, we're going to use that sexy little shorthand like kachiga. And we want to say custom dialog state semicolon like that. Right? And then what we'll do is we're just going to implement all the different widgets that we're going to use to build the UI like so. So keep in mind that over here, stupid ants, we have some of this breaking now, which that's okay. What we want to do is we want to capture the text field's text. So that's one important thing to capture. So what we'll say is we'll say string text field text, right? Or we'll just call it input text. That's pretty good. Input text like that. And let me think. We actually can leave it like this because I think we're only going to use it when it does have a value, right? No, it would crash. There would be a potential case to have it crash, and we're just going to eliminate that by setting it to an empty string, which will eliminate that from ever being a problem. So we'll say input, stop it, input text, like so, there. So now we have input text, and we're going to create a new, well, hold on. So we would have a function that we would need to pass in. Let me think. Yeah, we would have a function that we would need to pass in. So function and we'll just call this we'll say that this is going to be a function, and this is going to be submitted or saved text or entered text or did submit text. There we go. That's what I like. Did submit text. Like that. And then we want to create an initializer. So we're going to say custom dialog. And actually, this shouldn't even be a stateful widget. I think that this needs to extend a dialog. Is that right or no? Am I wrong? I am wrong. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I guess I'm wrong. Okay, so custom dialog like that. And then what we want to do is we want to say this dot did submit text like so. And why are you complaining? This class is marked with immutable. Okay, so what we want to do is this is going to be a final. There we go. Because we don't want that to be changing. All right, so now instead of doing anything in here, when you press this, what we're going to do is we're going to call did submit text we're going to call widget dot did submit text, like so. We definitely don't need double semicolons because that's just nasty. And we're going to move this over so it's a little bit prettier. Just a little bit. And we're getting input text. Is it because we're not using it? Isn't used. So we're writing to it, but we're not using it, and that's because will that work? You know, I think I actually have to pass it in now that I think about it. I don't know how to create a function that's going to take an argument like string or something like that. Huh. So yeah, let's see. A Dart closure return type function, and then okay, so let's see. So you're saying that I might be able to pass in a string like this, and this should no longer work. Where are you? I don't think this should work. So let's see what happens if we try to input. Yeah, we can't do that. So what we do need to do is we need to say like this, and then we'll say widget dot underscore not underscore dot did submit text, and then we'll pass in input text like that, like so. Oh, actually I think we can still do that. So let's go ahead and try that out. I think you can. I think we can. And input text like that. Cool, it worked. That is awesome. So let's see if we can replace all of this with a custom dialog. And we will be able to as soon as we import it. Rendering. Not sure what that's for. We'll leave it in there for right now, but import custom dialog.dart, right? And then we want to do this, but we also want to pass in did submit text, and we need to get this. So this is going to be input text, which is of type string. And for the input text, what we want to do is we want to create a new note and save that to notes. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just say notes dot add, and then we'll create a new note with the value of input text, like so. All right, so that might work. There's a small possibility that it'll work. So let's go ahead and try that. Okay, there we go. And then we do this. And that did not work either. So let's just make sure that we're going to refresh it and we're starting over from scratch. And then we do this. Okay, so yeah, we're still doing something wrong. Now, in my other one, I'm not sure if I'm creating a scaffold for the dialogue. Card dialogue. And I'm creating a stateful widget. This is just a bunch of, okay. And I'm doing that. And widget build dialogue content. Okay. Oh, you know what? It's right here. Build dialogue. I wonder if this will be it. I'm doing this on the wrong freaking thing. Okay, so custom, and then we want to change this to this and erase this. So, and let's make sure that we're stateful, and then state card dialog. So there's this. Oh, and there's this. Okay. Okay, so that makes sense. So that's the reason why we were. That's the way. We broke it. So we still need this build context, but all we're really going to do is we're just going to build dialogue content and pass in the context. So if we do that, and is this in a scaffold? I don't believe so. Oh, you know what? It's a dialogue. That's why it's completely different. So what we'll do is we're going to, once again, wrap this in a new widget. And this one's going to be dialogue. There we go. So that is going to change how things start to look. Yeah, see? Notice. All right. So, what we forgot to do so it looks like the width worked, but the height most certainly did not. And then we'll just refactor this into either we could do a sized box. Yeah. Sized box. And what we're going to do is we're just going to add some width and height. See if that will work. Width 300. height 200. We'll take this out of the container itself and let's see what happens. We press on it. Okay, so that's still not gonna work. And you know, I kind of don't want to get into the UI right now. But let's get back over to our main.dart and then let's go ahead and see if we're actually printing this out, if we could print this out real quick. So I just want to see if it's going to print what we expect it to. And see if that works as expected. So if we go ahead and do this and then we say this is a test, we're going to save. And let's see, did that work? And then output, debug, this is a test. Bam, it's working as expected, which is pretty cool. I'm going to take out this rendering. I'm not sure why it came in there. I might have made a mistake, but this is a test. And then what we want to do is notice how when we hit this is a test, it didn't go away. So what we want to do is we're going to once again wrap this. We are going to wrap this like so. And let's see, right there, drop a semicolon on your ass. And then what we also want to do is we want to make sure that we're popping. We have this navigator popping. Navigator dot of context, right? And then we want to just pop dot pop, drop a semicolon on them. All right, so we do this. We say this is a test. Again, we do save and it goes away and this is a test again. So that's pretty cool. Now what we want to do is we're going to go back over to our main.dart. We're going to add a new note and we're going to update the state. So we're going to do set state. You know, this actually might go in here, I think. And we're going to save this. We're going to say, hello there, sir. Okay, cool. And then this is another note. This is another note. See, so it is technically working. Now the UI is super freaking ugly, but this is exactly what I wanted it to do. If it wasn't so late, I would probably go into this and try to make it look a little bit cleaner. But just the fact that I was able to get this far by myself, it's not too shabby. Okay, so let me think. Well, since this is supposed to be a notes app, right? What we would want to do is we would want to make sure that multi-line is enabled, and that is going to happen. Nah, we're not even gonna worry about that. So it technically works. The thing is that just like any other regular application, as soon as you refresh it, since we're not persisting the data, it's gonna go away. So I needed to fix this. I'm not gonna fix it, but it's just good to see that it is technically working. We could have just done cancel, but hello, I'm Kyle. And then all we would really need to do is just, do the text alignment and stuff like that. But it's working. So the reason why this isn't, off to the left is because it's actually only like this big. So it's only from here to here. And I think we have it as centered. No, yeah. I think we have it as centered. Yeah, I would have to play with it and figure it out. But I could technically make it look a little bit nicer, but it's already late over here. It's almost 1 in the morning. So I'm just going to stop right there because this is technically what I wanted to do. It's like, yeah, it's ugly, but it works. So just the fact that I'm able to like kind of get into these concepts a little bit faster is really good. It's really good progress. It's really good progress, and it's gonna definitely help as I'm working through my client's app. So I do plan on getting faster with Flutter and Dart, and hopefully being able to make applications like super quick and start pumping out a couple apps on the App Store. Get some Flutter apps on the App Store and see what that's like. All right, guys. So that's gonna be it for tonight. Thank you again. As usual, thank you for, checking out the live stream, whether it's you came here to enjoy it in person or you watched me on the replay. I really appreciate it. Also, if you would like to support me for my efforts, then you can always go over to kiloloco.com /membership. And you can check out the courses that I have there, as well as get an invite to Slack. If you ever have a question, you could just ask me right there on Slack, and we could go over the code a little bit together. So it's pretty cool. I think there's also this 12-week iOS dev bootcamp. This is in Swift, but yeah, it's pretty good stuff. Protocol-oriented programming, once again Swift, and then advanced iOS 11 mastering push notifications course. So pretty good stuff. So check that out. Thanks again for your time, guys. Go out there and keep coding passionately.